Welcome, friends, to the animation experience at Conservation Station. Since the 1930s, Disney animators have put their pencils to paper in service of the idea that the greatest inspiration often comes from the magic of nature. Walt Disney himself understood the importance of spending time around animals, studying their behavior and personalities in order to create realistic characters and dynamic storylines. This meeting of the human and animal worlds sparked a legacy of storytelling that has shaped our relationship with animals and conservation forever. Today, we invite you to become a part of that legacy as our own Disney artists help you learn to sketch characters inspired by the very animals found here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Get your pencils ready, because here comes our animation artist now.
Good morning! How's everybody doing today? Is everybody having fun? Yeah? It is so great to see everybody, and thank you all so much for being here. My name is Heather. We're going to be drawing Timon today. I don't think he needs any introduction. He's a pretty popular character from The Lion King. We're going back to 1994 too. By the way, I know it's a 2019 version out there too. We got paper, we got pencil, we got clipboards. Some of you might have crayons and coloring sheets. Great! I'd love for you to create. So if you're missing any materials, just raise your hand really high. We'll be sure to get you whatever you're missing, even throughout the class too as well. We'll take care of you. Just a couple other really quick things before we get started too. When we exit today, we're going to be exiting out to the left-hand side of the theater. You're going to follow the lovely wall of animals over there through the animal tunnel. The most, are smiling, which I love. And then as you pass through the tunnel to the left is the restroom, and of course the outdoor world out there too as well. Nice and sunny today, which I love too. But before we get started, in animation you like to draw from life. And if you draw from life, you experience a lot and be able to draw that on your paper. And I'd love to introduce you to a couple of Meerkats, virtually of course. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the screens, and here's our inspiration.
Meet Bentley, a meerkat. Bentley's story began on the coldest night of the year, safe underground and warm in a nest where he was born. Can you find him? Wait for it. There he is. The keepers knew immediately something was up, since there was so much excitement. A tiny new baby in the family. Now that is big news. There were plenty of siblings to babysit Bentley, so that did not leave much for Mom Queen or Dad Jovi to do. After a month of growing, Bentley was big enough to emerge from the tunnels to meet the world. Now Bentley is learning to become a part of his meerkat community, where everyone shares duties and has a job to do, starting with dinner time. Each meal he is surrounded by big brothers and big sisters who all want to offer him a meatball. Their meatball. At the same time, Bentley's becoming skilled at finding food on his own by digging and foraging. With all this eating, it won't take long for him to become the size of the other meerkats. Most importantly, Bentley is learning to be the sentry or lookout, the one who keeps a close eye on all that is happening and warns others in the family of potential dangers. You can be on the lookout for Bentley when visiting the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. He'll be looking for you.
Visit all of our animals over there in Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. It's kind of over by the safaris when you get off the train. It's kind of right there. And hopefully some Meerkats will be out. Bentley's a little older now, so he won't be quite as tiny as you see him in that screen. So kind of cool. So we already drew guidelines already there for you, so you don't have to do this part. So it was like a nice UFO on our paper. What we're gonna do, we're gonna start with this nose. What I like to do is kind of show you kind of what the guidelines are. The vertical guideline, that's the middle of the face. So you're dividing that kind of about where your nose is. That's kind of about the middle, right? And just looking above that second guideline, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a little line. Just kind of starts you out. And the top part of his nose is kind of like a rainbow curve. So I'm going to go ahead and just very lightly just kind of curve this over till it hits that guideline. And you see how I'm just kind of very lightly just kind of making those marks. Same thing over here on the right side. I'm just going to go ahead and curve this down too as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn this into an upside down triangle or a guitar pick. So I'm going to go above this baby blue line that's under at the bottom of the circle. And I'm going to go ahead and make a little mark roughly about there. So we kind of know where the bottom of the line is. And you're just going to go ahead and very lightly just kind of curve this up. Now you can see that I'm just drawing a few little scratchy lines on my paper. That way I can kind of figure out what I like. You know, because there's times, I think we're all like this too, or we're going to make a line and we may not like that first initial line. And that's okay. And, you know, we can always go ahead and correct that to our liking as an artist. I'll make that a little bit darker there too as well. Get that nose. Timon knows that he's got. Now I like to go ahead and add in a little bit of a highlight on the nose. And I like to place mine kind of right there at the top of his nose, a little natural sunlight. And it kind of to me looks like a little hot dog. Little bubble. Almost looks like a little bubble and a little leveler if you're placing a picture frame on the wall. And I just shade in around that highlight. Now, if you're still working on lines, you can always come back to the shading later. The pencils go home with you. While you're on the train going back to Africa, you can shade there if you want to. And sometimes you'll also find that your lines kind of get lost in your shading, so you can go back in and touch up the lines over there on the inside. And it just kind of naturally just kind of fits itself, kind of almost. So how are we doing with that nose, right? We got a nose, we need some eyes in there. And the eyes are kind of more oval shape, a little more stretched out circles. Between the first and second guideline. How are we feeling about circles out there? Do we like them? They're pretty cool, right? Yeah. I don't want anybody to ever be fearful of circles. So if you ever stirred soup or coffee or brownie mix or something like that, you're already making a circle with your shoulder. You're stirring around the edges, right, of that pot or whatever it is. And you're just naturally making that circle down the side so you can see it over here. But I'm just going to start kind of above the nose, and I'm just going to pull it up so it hits this guideline. And again, you can sketch it out. It's a sketch class. And we're going to head over to the first guideline and then pull it right back down to the second guideline. Sometimes you'll find that it may be easier to draw it in faster, but if you want to kind of just take your time and do like a letter C, and then just turn the C into a 0 and O. You can break it up a little more too. But you do what works best for you. I learned that, you know, doing routines and stuff for like twirling, it was sometimes easier to learn them faster. So picking up on that, you know, applying that to art sometimes. I like to add a little under eye wrinkle. Yeah, I teach Simba everything he knows, so you might have some little under eye wrinkles there. Now on this side, I'm going to go up just kind of a little bit away from the vertical guideline. I'm going to curve up to the first guideline. I'm going to fall down, just kind of creating this little egg shape, and then pull it right back down to that second guideline. And you see, you're just feeling it out, and you're not afraid to make messy lines on your paper. The messier, the better. And it shows a sense of looseness too in your drawing. It shows a little sense of animation too. You want your Timon to be very energetic, and that's who he is kind of in the film. He is voiced by the great Nathan Lane, and his buddy Ernie Sabella, the voice of Pumbaa. And they were both actually auditioned for other characters like Sazu or the hyenas. And when they both came in to audition, they were like, oh wow, you guys do really well working off of each other. How about putting you guys in for like Timon and Pumbaa? And they, because they did such a great job, they had them audition for those instead. So let's go ahead and add in a pupil. So that way you'll have a zombie Timon here. So I'm gonna say underneath this little curve, and I'm gonna draw like a little peanut M&M kind of size pupil there. Very nice. Then we're gonna go ahead and darken in that pupil. And we'll do the same thing over here on the right side. I'm gonna go just to the inside, and we're gonna go ahead and draw a much smaller oval, maybe a little easier to draw. The smaller you get, not as much mileage that you're using for your shoulder. And see, even throughout the drawing, I might come in and kind of fits my lines too as well, because you do that as an artist. Add a little highlight, a little natural sunlight too. We're thinking that Timon is probably on sentry duty. And yes, meerkats actually have little chores that they do. So, they talked a lot about that in the video with sentry duty, but some of them are housekeepers and some of them are food gatherers. Does anybody have like any chores at home that they do? Yeah, Gabe's got some chores he's got to do. That may be making your bed. That's a chore, right? Or washing dishes, or I don't know. Whatever your mama says for you to do, you gotta do that, right? Or your dad. We're gonna go ahead and do a little curve coming up. We're gonna stay right up to the top of that circle there. And what I'm gonna do is kind of make these little rings around the eye. So we're gonna go just a little bit above the skyline and pull it right back down. So you're gonna do like half of a letter M for meerkat, right? So you're just gonna pull it up. Just take it nice and slow if you need to. And then I'm going to come over here on this side. I'm going to pull from the side of the eye. You're going to pull it up to that first guideline. Go a little bit above the top of that circle. I won't go probably any higher than that vertical guideline. I mean, you could if you want to. Timon likes to be very expressive, so you can do that little smolder thing going on. I'm going to pull this over to the right side of that circle there. But again, you can see how I'm just sketching it out, and I'm not afraid to go ahead and make that first initial line. And then I can go in there and maybe go over it. Again, you can see how messy these lines are. When you look at an animation too, and in the first start of a production, you do have the animators, they'll actually have tons of lines going in and out of the drawing, just weaving in and out and around. And then they pass it to a cleanup artist. The cleanup artist will come in, racer too. By the way, I'm in the same boat as y'all. We're all animators today here. So you can see my eraser on mine. But then they go in there and get rid of all those lines, and then of course you don't see all that in the final film because they do such a really good job of getting rid of it for you too. But this for his eyebrows, get those nice thick Nathan Lane eyebrows. There. This will show a little emotion. These are human characteristics. Obviously, animals don't have eyebrows too. This kind of shows a little more emotion that way. And I'm just going to shade that in. Again, don't do any shading now if it helps you out, if it saves you a little time, because we do have that 20 minutes together. So, again, those are just little things that will help you out as you draw these characters. And it has this upside down shoe logo that we don't own yet. We'll shade in the right eyebrow there too as well. And again, it's just a nice little quick shading. You do not have to fill in every single white space that's there too. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and add in the bottom part of the rings around. They've got these little dark rings around their eyes. So again, if you're like in sentry duty, if you're looking up in the sun, you probably need sunglasses, right? That's kind of what that acts like for our meerkats, is like little sunglasses. Or if you're thinking, we're coming off a Super Bowl, right? But this black ring is under football players' eyes. It's kind of that same kind of principle in a way. We'll pull this right back up to the eyebrow. So now you have your ring. Ring around the eye. I can't put a ring on it. You'll pull it right over here on the right side of the circle. And then I'm just going to slide it right on in. Now it is a little darker, and if you want to go a little lighter than your eyebrow, you can kind of shade that too. And you can shade outside the lines. It's allowed. And a quick sketch too as well. He's such a great character too. A lot of fun energy that he has in the movie. And I'm going to go above the nose and just add like a little tiny wrinkle. Now he needs a smile, so I'm just going to keep it nice and simple in the smile. You're just going to think of a school book photo or a passport photo kind of thing going on. See where the horizontal line and the side of the circle kind of meet right there? That's where your dimple is going to be. So you can make a little mark if you want to. So right there in that little corner. But, you know, he's really happy, so let's stretch out that dimple a little more, a little further out on both sides. Same thing on both sides, over here. And then your smile is going to hit where that little baby blue line is. And I call it the baby blue line because it's smaller than the rest. So you're going to go from here to there. And again, if it's such as a nice long line that you're doing, see how I'm just drawing it sketchy first? And then just kind of like filling it out to see how I want it as an artist. And everybody's going to be different because you're going to find how you want it personally. And it's going to pull it right on up. It's kind of slides in there. And I'll just come in sometimes and I'll just kind of tidy it up a little bit and make it neater too. We'll do the same thing over here. Just kind of pull it up and just pull it right on into that dimple. Just kind of nice and light at first so you feel it's right for you. And I'm going to pull this right up here to the left. Now, Meerkats are really, really clever too. They actually can build these really cool, elaborate tunnels, like 3 levels and 15 different chambers. And then we're going to go ahead and add a little curve right there underneath the bottom lip. Now, actually, they come together as a group. That's why I couldn't invite any Meerkats for us to see today in person. We would have to bring all 30 of them as a mob of Meerkats, as what a group of Meerkats is. It would be like bringing your whole, maybe extended family in together as a group. Kind of like that. Now we're going to go ahead and bring out his cheeks too. We got the side of the oval. And what I like to do is kind of go a little outside the oval and kind of really stretch out that cheek. Really happy Timon. Just going to follow all the way over to the side. Same thing over here on this side. I'm just going to bring it out to the side of the oval there. And just trace over that little oval. Give it a little trace over. And then we're going to start to come in a little bit for his neck. So, where's his neck going to be? So, if I back out just a little bit, you kind of see where the side of the nose is. That's kind of where the neck is going to be kind of lined up. If you want to draw a light line down, you can. You can use your pencil and kind of do this motion back and forth using your shoulder. Whatever helps you out. I'm going to go ahead from here, make a little mark right there. Here's another little trick. Just take your pencil. The nose. It's a little ruler almost for you. Same thing over here on this side of the nose. Just come down. I'm just going to very, very lightly or just kind of hop over to just below it and make a mark. And then what we're going to do on the side, you're just going to slide it into this little oval just a little bit. Just slice a little bit of it off and then slide it down into that line. That's all you have to do. We're just showing a little bit of his neck. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Just kind of pull this one. This one I'm going to actually show a little bit of his jaw kind of sticking out. So we go over past the bottom of the oval. And just add a little bit of a curve. Now they talked a little bit about their raw meat-based diet. It's kind of similar to a cat. Actually, they're not really a cat or a dog, they're more closely related to a mongoose, and they're actually cute kind of too. Again, don't make great pets. You would have to have 30 of them in your house, and you imagine all the tunnels that would be in your house, like they would go underground and everything. Can you imagine that? And then if any of them need a checkup, they all have to go to checkup together. The whole family goes. So if like mom or dad have a checkup, the whole family gets a checkup at the same time. Which is kind of cool. And then we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of the counter shading. So he's a little darker on top, a little lighter on the bottom. And that's true with a lot of animals. They have this nice darker color on the top. And I just look at the bottom of the circle. So you just trace over that. Now, when I get to roughly about here, I'm going to slide down just a little bit and just slide in. And we'll do the same thing on the left side. At the bottom or the side of the circle, however you're looking at it. And then just going to slide in halfway between these two lines. Slide it down. And again, if you're still feeling like you need to sketch it in at first because you may be unsure of that first line you make, and that's okay. It's okay to be unsure of it. You can always fix it. That's the beauty of art. I always like to tell people to, go to a gallery and look around and see how many beautiful different styles of art there are out there in the world. Or if you're, looking to have a really great art book, even impressionist works of art too as well back in the day. It's always fun. One other thing I want to add in right up here for the cheeks underneath his eye is going to connect these together. So you're showing a little bit of a triangle in this little space right here. On the eye, just pull it over and right over into his cheek there. All right, so what are we missing? There's a couple of things we're missing actually, but we need some ears. So let's do the ears next, and then I save the next part for last there. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead, see, I mean, fit some things up here. Oh my. But we're gonna, if you look at the ears, they're gonna fall back from the back of the head. So this reason you have a circle, it's the skull of the character pretty much. So think of it as the skull. And your ears kind of fall off of that. And if you want to draw through the cheeks to kind of fill it out, you can, but it kind of just falls off of that, the head. Kind of, I don't know why I like to think of a bunny rabbit's ears, how they fall back a little bit. And then we're just going to pull this back around. So it just kind of looks like a really big curvy L. And again, you can see how I'm just kind of sketching it out. Got a few trial and error lines, a few messy lines in there too. And if I take the right side of the circle, I'm just going to pull it out a little bit from the cheek. And again, if you want to draw through so you can see how that connects, you can go ahead and do that. Because remember, you got cleanup artists in the film. They'll get rid of all those lines for you. Remember, we're all the animators. Some of you might be supervising animators out there. What's in charge? So we'll darken those in too as well. And there's lots of animals too. I mean, we mentioned obviously the mongoose too, and meerkats, but you got gophers and prairie dogs, and a lot of things you can see on the wild and national state parks. And you can visit these critters in your local national or state parks, nps.gov, or we got a great little map out front as you exit. Now they got this little membrane too in their ears, this little crescent shape that we're going to draw for the back of their ears. It looks like a little bottom of a moon almost. And so when they're going in this underground tunnel, right? You would think, oh wait, they're gonna get dirt in their ears, right? They might, but this really cool membrane will help close their ears so they don't get any dirt or any critters or anything inside their ears. And they go in there and make these really cool tunnels. And kids, you probably built tunnels maybe out of cardboard boxes or something before. How fun is that? Did a community service project, in college too. You can do little tunnels, kind of like meerkats. This is probably a lot better, of course. But that's another thing too. Even if you're in college or in high school, even too, you can do little things to help out animals. First, learn about them through national parks or state parks. Now we need something right here at the top. Maybe a little widow's peak to start with. So I start with the eyebrow, go into that vertical guideline. Now I'm going to take back over and head right over to the top of the right eyebrow. So it was like a V. Now this is the part where you have fun. So in the morning when you wake up, right? When you see the hair go, meow, 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 whatever. So sound the best, right? So you can play with it and draw it very light at first. You know how you have to like play with your hair and kind of style it, and then you decide to commit to it and all that good stuff. And then obviously you might spray it down too. By the way, if you're using like hair care products, make sure you use cruelty-free products. I'm just playing around with this hair before I commit to it, and then I'm like, hey, I kind of like that. Stick it straight up like mine did in the morning. And it was kind of fun, or maybe your neighbors, and you're probably all like, oh my goodness, look at so-and-so's hair. It's kind of fun. And darken it up a little bit too as well. And his hair is a nice lovely red color, so you can kind of give it a light shade if you want to. A little bit of a shade, not much. Alrighty. How we feeling out there? Do we have a Timon? He prefers the crunchy bugs over the slimy ones. So we need to sign our artwork. Let's put our name on it. Be proud of what we created. You should always be proud of what you create too. That's what's important in art. And you did this from your whole heart and soul. So if you're still working on your signature, I understand. You can certainly print it too as well, if you'd rather do that. And then you can always date it. So it is, can't forget today's date. 2/14/2023. And you definitely followed in the footsteps of her great legacy in the past and the legacy that works on the Lion King. They were working on this movie at the same time as Pocahontas. They put all the top animators on Pocahontas, and they're like, Pocahontas is going to be this great big success. They had a lot of hope for it. And then Lion King, it's just an experiment. Let's see how it does. But a lot of the first-time animators on the Lion King, you know what? They went in there, they worked hard, they showed what they could do. We know the success of the Lion King to this day. I don't think I need to go over all that with you because y'all know that. But that's what's so great about art. If you're really to make something happen, and again, it comes from your heart, just like it did for these animators that work on the Lion King, you can do anything. That was beautiful. You got some ink work. You got the whole body on yours. Wow. Nice job. But I can't thank you enough for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day here at Animal Kingdom. The only thing I need back from you is the boards for our next classes. Pencils you can keep, they're yours. But if you don't want them, there's a little basket as you exit out toward the animal wall. And again, just enjoy your day here at Animal Kingdom and see lots of animals. Have fun. Bye, everybody. Hope I get your bag too.
Thank you all for joining us in the animation experience at Conservation Station. Please gather your personal belongings before exiting, and remember to take your artwork with you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your visit at Rafiki's Planet Watch and the rest of your adventure here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Goodbye.